White cop publicly humiliates black woman. Now he's facing her in court with the chief beside her. The video went viral overnight. Officer Daniel Hargrove, badge gleaming, screaming at Amara Jones in a crowded parking lot, his finger jabbing the air as she stood frozen, clutching her grocery bags. "You don't belong here," he'd shouted, his words a blade slicing through her dignity, as bystanders filmed, their phones capturing every second of her public shaming. Amara, a 32-year-old nurse, had only stopped at the store after a 12-hour shift. Her scrubs were wrinkled, her eyes heavy, but she'd smiled at the cashier, unaware that Hargrove, off-duty but still wielding his authority like a club, had been watching her. He'd seen her park in a handicapped spot, her permit clearly displayed, and decided she was suspicious. The confrontation was brutal. He demanded her ID, called her a liar when she explained the permit was for her chronic back injury, and mocked her in front of the growing crowd. "People like you always cheat the system," he sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. Amara's heart pounded, but she stood tall, refusing to let tears fall. She knew the truth. This wasn't about a parking spot. It was about the color of her skin. The video spread like wildfire, igniting outrage across the city. Comments flooded in, some defending Hargrove, claiming he was just doing his job, but most condemning his blatant racism. Amara's phone buzzed endlessly with notifications, some supportive, others vicious. She didn't sleep that night, replaying the moment she'd been reduced to a stereotype, her years of service as a nurse erased in seconds. But something inside her shifted. She wouldn't let this define her. She called her lawyer. The courtroom was a pressure cooker. Amara sat at the plaintiff's table, her hands steady despite the storm in her chest. Beside her stood Chief Elena Martinez, a woman known for her ironclad commitment to reform. Martinez had seen the video and called Amara personally, promising to stand with her. "This isn't just your fight," she'd said. "It's ours." Now, Martinez's presence sent a message. The department wasn't hiding from this. Hargrove, across the room, looked smaller than he had in that parking lot. His uniform was gone, replaced by a stiff suit, but his eyes still carried that flicker of arrogance. The judge's gavel cracked, silencing the murmurs. Amara's lawyer, a sharp woman with a reputation for dismantling bias, laid out the case: harassment, racial profiling, abuse of power. She played the video, and the room collectively held its breath. Amara's voice trembled as she recounted the humiliation, the way Hargrove's words had stripped her humanity bare. "I save lives every day," she said, her voice rising. "But to him, I was nothing." The jury leaned forward, their faces a mix of empathy and discomfort. Hargrove's lawyer argued he'd acted on reasonable suspicion, but the claim felt hollow, crumbling under the weight of the footage. Chief Martinez took the stand next. Her testimony was a thunderclap. "Officer Hargrove's actions violated every principle this department stands for," she said, her voice steady but laced with fury. "He targeted Ms. Jones because of her race, plain and simple. We're here to hold him accountable." Whispers rippled through the courtroom. A police chief siding with a citizen against one of her own? It was unheard of. Hargrove's face reddened, his hands clenching the table. As the trial unfolded, Amara's story unraveled layers of pain. She spoke of growing up in a neighborhood where police were feared, not trusted. She shared how she'd fought to become a nurse, to prove she could rise above stereotypes. Yet, in that parking lot, Hargrove had reduced her to nothing but her skin color. Her words weren't just an accusation, they were a mirror, forcing the room to confront the ugly truth of systemic bias. Hargrove's defense was flimsy. He claimed stress, a misunderstanding, but his excuses unraveled when a second video surfaced, showing him using racial slurs on duty months earlier. The jury's faces hardened. Amara watched, her heart a tangle of hope and fear. Would they see her? Really see her? The verdict came on a rainy afternoon. The courtroom was silent as the jury foreman stood. "We find the defendant, Daniel Hargrove, guilty of harassment and abuse of authority." A gasp swept the room. Amara's knees buckled, but Martinez steadied her with a hand on her shoulder. Hargrove's head dropped, his career in ruins. The judge ordered community service and mandatory bias training, but the real victory was the precedent. A black woman had faced her oppressor and won, with the system, however imperfect, lying on her side. Outside, cameras flashed as Amara stepped into the rain, Martinez beside her. Reporters shouted questions, but Amara's smile was her answer. She'd reclaimed her voice, her dignity. The city watched, and for a moment, it felt like change was possible. Not perfect, not complete, but possible. Amara knew the fight wasn't over, but as she looked at the crowd, some cheering, some silent, she felt a spark of hope. Her story wasn't just hers anymore. It was a call to keep pushing, to keep believing that justice, however hard won, was worth it. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.